everybody, and welcome to the As You Are podcast. My name's Leslie Vandergans, founder of Enso Coaching and Consulting, and I'm here with two of our amazing coaches, Adam and Libby.
Adam and Libby.
And our wonderful friend, Jeffrey.
What's up?
Jeffrey. We're super excited because we're continuing the AI series that we talked about in the season opener. And when we were talking about AI, we immediately thought of our friend Jeffrey, because we know Jeffrey is
Well, I
in
didn't
AI.
because I just found out that Jeff does
Literally,
AI
yeah.
today, an hour ago. So
Well, and
That's
I
how
think-
AI works. You don't know it's working.
You
Lesson
never-
one.
That's
You
it.
never know. Well, the funny thing is, I think we all know that we've known Jeff for probably about a year now. I'd say about a year. And we've become very good friends in a very short period of time. And we all don't know exactly what you do, which is kind of funny. It's very like Chandler Bing-esque
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And I know I just aged myself, but that's okay. So can we just start there?
Yeah. One, you're not alone. My wife has been married to me for 6 years, also doesn't know what I do.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's good. That's
She
good.
tells her friends like tech. It's a very generalized.
it's a broad
piece. Yeah.
umbrella.
Yeah. No. So yeah. Nice to be here. When I'm not playing around with you guys, I spend all my time mostly actually consulting with enterprises on AI technology. So for me, the part of it that I play in is actually the people who actually will implement it. So people are my product. So we have 800 engineers and architects that specifically focus on data-related AI type projects. So I'll go into like major, mostly retailers and healthcare companies and help them understand how do you look at AI? What are the early wins you can achieve with AI? What are the right first use cases to go after? And, you know, we're excited to talk to you guys about it today.
Awesome. Well, that's exactly what we were hoping that you did.
exactly.
He's like-
It would have really sucked if we were like, he's like, I don't do that at all.
He's
Actually.
like,
It's actually
No.
the only industry I could spell.
Yeah.
And so, I really fell into it.
Yeah, exactly. We would have just talked about other things.
Yeah.
But no, this is great. This is
Pivot.
great.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, from the concept of kind of going into this like AI conversation is, you know, I think there's a lot of confusion right now, and organizations are kind of like,
Yeah.
what do we do? Like, I got to do AI. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And so like when you're going into an organization that is needing this type of consulting work, like how do you start, or what are kind of like the first steps that you take to engage with an organization?
Yeah, usually it's getting people to change the way they're thinking about it. They hear it's a hot topic. They know they should be doing it. So they're trying to take a solution and find a problem versus identify real problems for their business and understand how technology or AI may be able to actually attack that problem today where it couldn't yesterday, right?
Mhm.
So part of it is getting people to understand that it's a tool, not a solution. And, you know, the way you go about it first is, especially at an enterprise level, like large corporations, right? You're not going to invest $1 million into something that's unproven. And then you have a bunch of people who are worried that it's going to take their job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to get into an organization, understand kind of where their largest problems lie and try to attack it with technology versus like say, hey, we have this technology, let's go find a problem to go pit it against. And the biggest problem is which ones are you going to use? Because in the tech world, if you don't get something into production, which means like out in the actual environment,
Right.
you're not going to see the ROI. And so a lot of organizations spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars doing a bunch of proof of concepts on, hey, maybe we can use AI for this. Maybe we can use AI for this auditing team over here to help automate what they do. But the return to the business is minimal, right?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of balance out, oh, that would be cool to solve with AI, to like, hey, this will actually make meaningful either top line or bottom line revenue
Yeah.
to the company.
So can you give an example of an organization that you've gone in to help them kind of change and pivot their mindset, and then like what you guys have kind of done? Obviously, you don't have to give specifics, but
Yeah. You know, one of my biggest customers is one of the largest healthcare companies in the United States. They provide. They have like 2,800 hospitals. They have urgent care centers. They have ambulatory systems.
Yeah.
And they're really on the kind of cutting edge of where you can use AI. And a lot of people talk about AI in the sense of like Gemma, and I can create this video, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, look at me, I'm now an astronaut on this camera. But there are really cool real world use cases that you can really bring AI to. And so in the healthcare space, some of the coolest ones we're seeing is like solving problems like a nurse handoff. When you're in a hospital, any of us who have either been in a hospital or had, family members or friends in a hospital, you see the nurse maybe 3 times in their 12-hour shift, and an hour of their 12 hours is just doing the handoff from the nurse that was there before them, like
that
getting
shift
all that
change
ingestion.
is like a real deal. Yeah.
It's brutal, right? And so those are the kind of problems where like, hey, how can we use AI to actually know what happened during these 12 hours, take in all the notes, consume them, and actually output what is most important to the next nurse coming in. So that way the nurse leaving has more time with the patients because they're not leaving the last hour to start writing up everything. And the nurse coming in can be more impactful to her patient, his or her patients, because they're getting the TLDR of it, right? Versus having to go through and have this 45-minute conversation patient by patient.
Nice.
And that helps the hospital because their nurses are more impactful and effective. It helps. Right now, a huge problem in the industry is nurse burnout, right? Ever since COVID. So like, how do we make their jobs easier? And nurses are passionate about patients. Right? They're not passionate about technology. They're not passionate about write-ups and admin work. So I think when you talk about AI, one of the most powerful things about it is how do you let people do what they're best at? How do you take out all that manual stuff that you have to do? It's important, but it's not where your differentiator lies. It's not where you're actually driving true impact to the business. And that's where AI can get really cool and freeing up, people and professionals to do what they do best. In healthcare, that's providing patient care.
I think it's so cool because I think that that's the thing, people are so threatened by AI and what it's going to potentially do, but it's like the thing, like the touch of a nurse. AI can't do that and won't ever be able to have that, like, let me like physically like feel like a body or like see how you are, right? And I think that, again, like you said, that's the thing that they are passionate about and love. And so looking at it is how do you partner with it as a tool to help you do the things that you love more, and then maybe the other stuff can beep boop beep boop. Yeah,
exactly. I tell people all the time because for a lot of people it's a strange concept, especially if you're not in the IT side of the world, you're not on the tech side. If you're a business stakeholder, right? You run the HR team, you're the COO, and you're running operations. What is AI? Like, how do you think about it? Like, how do you approach it in your world? One of the best ways I found and most successful ways to talk about it is think of it as having 20 personal assistants that are really great at doing that thing that assistant does, right? Like you have someone who's great at calendaring you. They understand how you work, they understand how you operate, and they're amazing at that. You have another assistant who understands exactly how you interpret company 10Ks and what you look for in an investment opportunity. And that's exactly what they do. And it's not that they do it for you, right? But they get it to a place where now it's actually using your value to interpret versus, you have to go actually read this whole 10K report. You actually have to go do all the what's out there in the public on this organization. And so a lot of it is not about replacing, it's about optimizing your capabilities. Now, what a company's going to expect you to do is going to fundamentally change with AI. Right. And we've seen that at any major technological advancement. The computer. Right.
100%.
When you could email versus having to fax or courier something over.
Oh, I still get so mad if someone wants me to fax something. I feel like it makes me pretty rageful.
Welcome to healthcare.
So many faxy things.
Exactly. Okay, so what just to kind of take all of that and put it in a synopsis, like number one is to think about, the business problem rather than AI as the kind of the initial fundamental piece. And then the way to go about doing that is to really think about if we had a number of humans that were actually supporting some part of the business, how do we actually leverage that piece into, some kind of an AI tool or AI technology? Yeah.
I think the third other and probably most important part is how you do the change management in your organization around AI, right? And if you can't really sell the what's in it for me at the individual level, adoption is going to be very hard. And unfortunately with technology, you can have the best tech stack in the world. You can have all the best platforms. But if people aren't using it the right way, it can only provide so much value. And I think a lot of organizations miss out on the fundamental part of the change management piece we're giving you ways to do business different, but we
Mhm.
don't teach you how to do the business different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
wonder why the results don't kind of align.
Exactly.
And I would say that's the other big piece.
Is that where you see a lot of, the biggest challenges or like the biggest uphill battle with organizations adopting AI?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge I see is human resistance,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So getting that wall knocked down at first is probably the largest challenge in getting a company to, and it depends the type of company too, right?
Right.
If you're a digital native, I'm a software platform company, they're very into how do I use technology to be better,
Yeah.
do more with less, et cetera. If you're in oil and gas, if you're in healthcare, if
Yeah.
you are in
100%.
law, right? Some of these more
Slower to
laggards,
adopt, yeah.
slower to
Mhm.
adopt industries. You have to start with the what's in it for me for sure. Like, how is the company? And that's why it being a business problem is so important.
Mhm.
Is like, if I'm telling you, hey, try this tool out, that's one thing. If I'm saying, hey, I think I have a solution to your problem,
Mhm.
Mhm.
that's a totally different approach.
Right.
But you need to make sure it's a big enough problem too.
Yeah.
Like I said before,
Yeah.
that's in AI especially. So right now, LLMs are the big hot topic right now, right? Large language models.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
2 years ago it was generative AI,
Mhm.
which is like just a more simplistic version, right? You get a bunch of people out there that know they have to do something. Um, but you have to understand how it's going to either save the company money or make the company money,
Mhm.
right? Unless you're in a nonprofit and you can be totally passion-based, which I totally respect, right? And then you're saying, I'm totally focused on this outcome.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, even as a
Yeah.
nonprofit,
But they're
it's still
still
dollars and
happy
cents.
with it.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
still worried about
Yeah.
making money and
Yeah.
or, like saving,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And remember that maybe the passion project part of AI is not the first phase.
Mhm.
Like, show the company value, show them how AI can start paying for itself.
Mhm.
And then you slowly get into a position where you can now be leveraging it in your product and
Mhm.
externally facing. I think a lot of companies try to go first to how do I use AI to better my product to my customer
Mm.
versus how do I use AI to better operationally operate
Operationalize.
my
Yeah.
business.
That makes a lot of sense.
And the early wins are there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So aside from the anxiety of being replaced, what are some of the other obstacles and worries that employees or, corporations
Yep.
have about AI?
Security is the other absolute huge one. AI is all based on data, right?
Yeah.
And so in a large language sense, like if you're creating agents and that type of thing, you're typically combining what's available on the internet via an LLM, et cetera, with some proprietary data access to this agent has of your information. That's the secret sauce.
Mhm.
And so data is going to be, in my opinion, one of the largest monetary functions of most enterprises of tomorrow. What data you own, what you know about people, what you know about their habits, how they shop, how they live, the way they think is going to become the new monetary system of value within a lot of organizations. We're already seeing that. But the issue is for most companies, well, if you're exposing my data to a large language model, how do I know now you're not using my proprietary data to train this open source large language model? And if you don't want to get lost in all the tech of it, right? Just like, how do I know you're not putting my info out in the public for other people to have access to?
Yeah.
Is like in its most simplistic form.
Right.
And that is a huge risk. And that's why having an actual AI strategy is important because then you have guardrails, then you have governance around like your data, how you're having people use it.
At
what
least
the
it's like
firewalls
then you're
are.
choosing what gets exposed rather than if you don't, and then it's going to be chosen for you.
Yep. Very common theme
Yeah.
in the tech side of organizations is a shadow IT, right? So engineers, architects who are using, your employees will use AI.
100%.
Like, full stop.
Yeah.
Right? So the question now is how much control do you want over how they're using AI, the type of AI they're using, and the security controls? And that's a forcing function for most businesses because guess what? If you're not offering them something, they're going to ChatGPT.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
oh, sure.
And they're
On the
putting
private
everything, yeah.
sense. And anything that you're doing in ChatGPT that's not in the enterprise license, they do have a protected license version of it, right?
Mhm.
But if people are using it on their own privately, your information is being exposed.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
so that's the other big, huge risk.
Yeah. So how do you how do you answer for that? Or like what is when you say creating an AI strategy instead of a business, like what are the components of an AI strategy?
Yep. So data governance is one,
Mhm.
right? So understanding what data you have, where it lives, who has access to it. AI can't do anything beyond, if it's set up right, can't do anything beyond an individual employee. So if I have an agent, right, I couldn't ask my agent, and for those not in the space, think of an agent like a chatbot for easy terms, something you can interact with. If I go onto my Gemini enterprise license right now and I say, hey, tell me the top 5 salaries in the company, it's going to tell me, sorry, you don't have access to that information because my permissions and profiles don't allow me access to that. Where if the CFO went in and searched that information, it would populate it up to him. So understanding the governance and the rules around your data are very important to having a successful, safe, secure AI strategy. The other piece is understanding what data is necessary to expose to get value. You don't just open up everything. Right? And so going through that process of understanding where is the valuable data, how do you make sure you're only accessing the data that's needed, is all part of typically that first engagement, right? We're proving out that it can happen, that it can work within the guardrails, that it can interpret. The other piece of AI in the business sense, oftentimes that people are concerned about outside of security is accuracy.
Right. Sure.
So,
just like with humans.
Details.
Just like with humans, but actually even more so, right? For some reason, the AI bot needs to be at 95%.
Oh, yeah.
Your
We
average
can
employee
be wrong,
probably
but,
is like at 70%.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so like understanding like how do we give it what it needs to be accurate, but not more than it needs, where it's not driving value and just introducing additional risk.
Interesting.
Can you give a use case for like if someone, at a company, you're doing a training, a change management like moment, and someone, asks about, data breach, for example. What do you say to like the average employee who's like, we are putting AI into place in a general sense? How do you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, I think one is what is your security governance, right? Like, what do you already have in place? AI can be a very powerful tool actually to show you where you have exposure that you don't know that you have exposure a little bit.
That's good.
I think releasing it internally first is always a good step. So that way, like the external exposure is minimized as you're teaching people kind of how to use it effectively. But the data breach side of it, that's not going to come if you have the right strategy in place and the right security controls in place. A data breach is still going to only come from a bad actor, right? And you can't control a bad actor per se.
Sure.
But you should have the right protocols in place that either prevent it or detect it early enough that you can be actionable on it. But if the risk is there, the risk is there, whether you're using AI or not.
I think that's the thing is it's like it's your data it's out
it's
there.
It's like the internet.
Like I mean
generally.
Yeah. I mean, I think yes, you have to be like concerned about it, and it is concerning, but just like knowing that like your stuff, like a majority of it is already like out in the ether, right?
Yeah, I mean, the stuff you really want to protect as an organization is like your ERP information, right? Like your CRM information, the stuff you know about your customers, what they buy, how they buy, when they spend, where they spend, how long they've spent, all that kind of information, which is typically differentiating as you try to set up your market strategy and product strategy and all of that. But again, if you have the right controls in place, that information shouldn't be able to be exposed because you have all the systems and you have all the guards there, right? If it's shadow IT and people are just trying to cheat to get faster, those guardrails aren't in place, and that's where you run a lot of risk.
Got it. Okay, so then when you're looking at an organization to build an AI strategy, to think about opportunities to leverage AI from an operational plan or, whatever, like vision casting, et cetera.
Yep.
How do you guys think of who the players are that are driving some of these things forward? Like, how do you, and it's probably organization to organization, but, just from a structural standpoint, if we're looking at an organization and saying, okay, these people are the ones that we really need to engage in, like whatever the future of this AI strategy is going to be for the organization, who would those be?
Yeah, I mean, so I think a lot of times this conversation starts in IT, but really needs to be within the business stakeholders.
Great.
And so for me, typically we're talking to the finance team, we're talking to the operation team. Oftentimes it's the customer success part of the organization where they can leverage it the fastest and most immediate. And when you think about call centers, when you think about
100%.
and there's cool implications of that, which and that is probably an industry that will see some size shifts because of the ability for an AI bot to handle a call from start to finish.
100%.
Eventually, there's really cool stuff in voice AI right now coming out, especially out of Google with really natural sound. My old problem with bots before was like, "Thank you for calling. Do you want, And it's like not a natural conversation. You don't feel like you're talking to someone. That stuff has like totally changed in the last year, in my opinion. But the sizing and that team will come down, but the ability right now, I'm talking about a POC to a major provider of the technology platforms that run most airlines booking and hotel bookings. And
Please fix it. Great.
Get on
Great
it, Jeffrey.
news. Best news to start the week.
Yes.
Hot off the press.
We will not solve the government shutdown and the lack of TSA employees,
Exactly.
but we can help you with using AI to better do it.
Yeah.
No, but I think, in those circumstances, they're looking to do it where, hey, I want to be able to have somebody call in German, and I have a U.S. English-speaking customer service rep.
Yeah.
I want to immediately translate to my rep in English, in real time, the German into English. And as my rep talks back, I want to real time translate back into German, back to that customer, right?
Yeah.
Those are that kind of stuff is early stages. And I think but that's the kind of stuff where great, now I don't have to have a globally operating customer service center, right?
Yeah.
I can have them placed and depending on how you do it, you can also have them in a foreign country and be translated into English.
Sure.
So,
Right, exactly.
But I think those are the kind of places where, again, if you're focused on the business problem, what are a lot of the business? It's document ingestion, right? How are teams understanding how to respond to RFPs? How are you interpreting if you're a brick and mortar retailer, all the lease agreements you have? And, are you paying within market? Should you be negotiating for any particular certain piece? One of the largest mortgage underwriters in the nation is our customer. And we've helped double the efficiency of their underwriters by the document ingestion. We built them an AI tool that can take in text the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit every second.
Wow.
And it's not only just ingesting it, then it's putting out hey, this is a good loan, this is a questionable loan, right? So now instead of being able to do 6, they're able to run 12 loans a day. And the more loans you can write, the more good loans you can write, the more profitable your business is, right? So, those are all examples of where I think getting into the right business stakeholders are good. And if you're looking for first movers, operationally, I think, again, sales ops, customer service, those are all easy win places. Legal, and typically anywhere that has a lot of document ingestion are easy win places to start using AI to do some of the manual work that isn't driving value yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just needs to be done to allow a person to drive value.
Yeah.
And then I think when you're in general, you got to talk about how it can make you money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think the easy wins are in the internal. The big wins are in how do you
monetary.
how to help you monetize things.
Love it. Okay. So big picture, we've got to have a clear vision. AI is not solving AI. AI is not solving AI. AI is solving a business problem. So we need to know what the business problem is and be able to communicate that. We got to get AI, some kind of an AI strategy to protect our data or to protect our information from getting leaked and being put out there. We have certain key stakeholders that we want to make sure are involved. And what I heard you say is try to chunk up to like business owners, essentially, right? So it might start in IT, but we're trying to get to the business owners. And one of the biggest challenges is change management. And so hire a coach is what you're saying. Hire coaches.
Hire coaches.
That's so weird.
Hire
Wink,
coaches.
wink, wink.
Too bad you don't know any.
I think the other thing I'd say on it is have really clear, for the first POC that you do, have really clear expectations of what success means.
Nice. Yes.
You have to be really...
Oh,
Jeffrey.
You speak it to the ladies over here. I don't know why I said that.
Adam.
Right.
We are having so
POC,
many conversations
IDK.
around. We're having so many conversations around clarity of success metrics, right? This is just it's like here's the goals, but they're like ambiguous goals, and so then trying to get clear on like, okay, but what does success look like? Like, how do we know what a win is at the end of 90 days or 6 months?
Yep, and that's important for this.
For
right?
this, right?
For this
100%.
scope, for this piece, what does
Yeah.
success look like? And because sometimes you sell the broader picture, but you have to take off a first chunk, right?
Yeah.
And so then, but they want the outcomes of the broader picture.
Right.
And so they're disappointed in the first chunk.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Right.
well, no, all we were proving out is that these systems talk to each other.
We did that.
That the information can't be exposed. But having really clear, measurable success criteria is key in successfully trying to launch an AI project at all.
The funny thing, Jeff, as you're talking about all of this stuff, it's like the same business problems that may exist even if AI wasn't introduced, right? Where there's like a lack of clarity on what the vision is. We don't know exactly what we're trying to do. We're doing all the shiny object stuff and trying to engage in all those things, but we don't have like a very clear due north, or we don't have a very clear strategy around what we're trying to accomplish. No clear success metrics. We're going to implement all this stuff and then not do appropriate change management.
No one's going to use it, or
Yeah.
some people will use it, maybe not.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's not like an effective kind of, what is our like project management plan around like implementing all these things. And so it's just interesting because it's essentially what you're saying is AI is just another thing that is not any different than anything else a business would do. Now, the outcomes of it will be very different, vastly different. It can change the makeup, right? 100%. But from just an implementation and engagement standpoint, it's not any different than anything that another business is going to be dealing with.
It's evaluating a tool. It's evaluating a way to make your business either smarter, faster, better, right?
It's good. It's good. Okay. So what would you say the future
What's the future
will
Jeff?
look like?
The future.
Where's my
Look into
Lord
your
Animal?
Yeah,
crystal
come on.
ball. Put out your tarot cards. I don't
Yes,
you
tell
know,
us,
like,
Jeff.
tell us, Jeff. What does the future look like?
Unknown. I think that's a safe answer, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I don't
unknown.
Safest.
It'll be here or it won't.
Yeah.
Those are the options.
Great.
No, look, I think through the AI lens, I think we're going to see a dramatic shift in what kind of the more blue collar industry kind of careers look like. I think you'll see I think it will cause a shift into more vocational work, trades work, stuff that AI immediately isn't going to be able to replace. I think it'll be interesting to see the dichotomy of like less people going to college these days and going more directly into a field or a career. How will that technology gap or that training gap, is that really there? And I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Some kids are creating apps now with AI and, you
man.
see the ads all the time in 15 minutes. Why we're all chat GPTing like, what should I make for dinner?
Right.
Kids always get it faster than
Exactly.
us,
I'm like,
right?
I have utilized this. Make my grocery list.
Yes. Yeah.
Like-
But kids are much more creative, right?
Yeah.
They understand how to use
sure.
it better and faster.
Well,
and
what
more
they're
inventive.
doing with it for like notes in college and like test
Right.
prep and all that other stuff, it's almost like,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
well, yeah, like how valuable are some of the way that higher education is necessarily positioned currently,
Yeah.
and what is the impact of the student, right?
Yeah.
Like how the student ingests education.
And I think it has a chance to democratize opportunity a little bit more, right? Like, it's almost enough now to have a good idea.
Yeah.
Back when you think about when, Zuckerberg created Facebook, it's not just a good idea, it's also that he was a coder.
Yeah,
and
right,
could technically do this
right,
stuff.
yeah.
And you have
Yeah.
a bunch of Harvard-level coders who could
Yeah.
also write stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need that circle to get started anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a voice client who, and I think this is great. You know, she, her husband is a professional musician, is in
Yeah.
a band, and their little daughter, when they get in the car, she's like, I want to hear daddy's music. And this client of mine is like, well, what about mommy's music? Right. But she's like, but mommy doesn't know how to like write music. And so she uses this app that's crazy. I had no idea it was an AI. Speaking of voice, I had no idea it was an AI voice. And you go in and you put in the agent, you know, and it just a description of the song you want and your lyrics.
Yeah.
It comes back, gives you 3 versions of your song in the style that you wrote with your own lyrics.
Yeah.
And then she learns to sing with it based on the voice that is singing this. And it's a great song. Like it's what she put in, it's what it gave back. And I would have no idea it was an AI voice. That's
Wait, that's so
And now
good.
we get into the controversy of AI in the arts.
Well, of
I
course.
know.
Yeah,
There's
that was
that.
that was kind of where. Well, this is where like all of the conversation
Speaking of
started,
bad
right?
actors.
Because you know,
Yeah.
obviously, bad actors. You said bad actors. Libby was like bad actors.
I did.
Usually
Of
means
course she
something
could
different
get-
on this podcast.
Well,
Exactly. But like truly,
I didn't mean actors with a capital A.
We don't.
I know what you
well,
meant.
and I think I think that this is kind of where this like AI conversation started, right? Which was like, I'm curious. Like, I have a fundamental belief that there's going to be a renaissance of like live music and like acoustic music and no digital engagement or whatever because people are going to be so saturated with like really good shit
Billy
with like
Joel is
really
back, y'all.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Did he ever
But then,
go away?
but then, can you sit on a microphone without any enhancements with a guitar
Yeah.
and sing a song, and that'll be like the commodity? I think, like you said, plumber, like tradesmen. I mean, I saw something that said like the plumber is going to be the next like millionaire. Like those are going to be the next millionaires because it's
missed
so, like,
opportunity.
yeah, dang it.
It's not too late.
Can you imagine? This
Libby
is
as
your
a
new
plumber?
plumbing team.
She would be so successful.
I was just saying last night to my friend's dad, I was like, one of my superpowers is saying it's never too late, that you can always start anew. So
Yeah.
maybe do not
be a
short yourself.
roofer, yeah, like whatever. But truly, similarly, I think in the arts, it's there will be a renaissance of acoustic music, and I'm just curious, like what's your perspective? Because you're also an artist and you're in the AI space, and so I'm just curious, like, what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, my altruistic perspective is that what people love about the arts is exactly what AI is not, right?
Yeah.
It is the actual communion of energy and the interaction and the give and
And the
take that happens
emotion and the
between
uniqueness
an
and
artist
the-
and an audience and all those things, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like, to your point in live performance, I think there's also amazing ways to enhance it, right? Like you can now probably produce something for a fraction of the cost of what it used to. And yes, does that mean, like, for instance, like to do backdrops, to do visual imagery?
Certainly
you know?
marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing. Like there's ways to use it to benefit. Do I think it's going to take some actor roles? For sure.
Yeah.
But guess what, guys? Cartoons have always existed.
That's right.
You know what I
True.
mean? So
Yeah.
like this, I shouldn't say always existed, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. For a very long time.
Yeah. So I think we have to understand that art has never stayed stagnant. It's always evolved with what has been available to create it with. And AI is going to be another tool that you can create art with. I think it's very smart of the unions to try to make decisions now to safeguard and guardrail
totally.
protections
Exactly.
for not just performers, but other artists, the people who create on the back side of things. But you're not going to be able to escape it. So this is in any industry. Just like, how are you going to? How do you use it, or how do you protect and create guardrails around it? But you need to be doing both of those things, because if not, it is going to consume you. And I think you asked, what's the future? On a global level, I think we have a big responsibility in the government to actually create some safe rails and guardrails around how AI is being used and what it can be used for. I think we're being really ignorant in that front at the moment.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know what's real anymore. I can't trust anything.
I
that
get so
see.
mad when I get a video that I'm like, well, look at this squirrel just having the time of his life doing
Remember that
some-
kangaroo?
Yeah,
that
we
took
were-
an airplane. We were convinced a
And then I'm
kangaroo
like,
went on an airplane ride,
it's an
and then we were like,
AI.
"It was AI, damn it!"
I mean, a lot of them you can spot, but sometimes they're so
Yeah.
good.
The worst is like my dad and my mom, like the boomer generation, like sending things, and you're like,
Yeah.
please stop. This is not real.
Yeah.
Like
Don't
deep fakes, all that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Don't send
Revenge
these, it's not
porn, like
real.
all that
Yeah.
stuff is real.
Yeah.
That's the dark
Scary.
side of
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be scary too.
When it's
right?
only been 2 or 3 or whatever years since
Yeah.
we've been saying, oh, court testimony, like, how are you going to, and now we're there. Like,
Yeah.
it moves
100%.
so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So fast.
Exactly. Regulation needs to happen quickly. Vote this year, I guess.
Is that your
Yeah.
call to action
I
today?
guess.
Vote.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, please vote.
Yeah, and I would say also just general shout out to anyone listening is also like your own data privacy, right? Like
Yeah.
understanding like your passwords, like your security stuff, like all of that is going to become more and more at risk as more and more stuff is pushed to a digital environment. And so, having good, strong passwords, having like those types of things set up is very basic stuff that we can also be doing because that's anything that can be used for good, like AI, can also be used for bad,
Mhm.
right?
Or
The
evil.
rule of life.
Yeah.
100%.
That's the truth.
I love it. What else? What other questions do we have, guys? For Jeffrey.
For Jeffrey?
Jeffrey!
Questions?
How did you, is there any background for you that did you want to be in a tech space because you have an MBA, right?
Yeah.
I do.
So did you want to be in a tech space? Was there any predilection in you for that, or did you fall into this?
I did not necessarily originally want to be in the tech space when I went back and got my MBA. I had kind of fallen into a sales career, which is a very natural second career for an actor. Because we sell ourselves our entire life, and I've been doing it since I was like 6, like a little
Pounding
kid.
the pavement, man.
I originally was just like kind of like in sales, but I felt a little bit like I was acting, like because my undergrad degree is in classical. It's a BFA in classical acting, like so my Shakespeare and Moliere didn't really.
It's not going to help you.
Not for the digital marketing I was slinging at the time. But so I just really wanted to like legitimize myself, and probably the most important thing I learned in grad school was nobody is legitimate. Like everybody is kind of faking it till they make it.
Yeah,
like no matter,
it's true.
like you
Just
may
said
be a
this to
brilliant
somebody,
accountant,
yeah.
but you're horrible at the soft skills, right? Like
100%.
there's like nobody is just. I shouldn't say nobody is just brilliant, but most people are normal.
Yeah.
And the people who succeed are the ones who are more tenacious and more focused and more willing to kind of cut through the grime to get to where they want to go. And it's I don't know, it's I think there's a big opportunity if you are willing to own it. But this whole thing's going to leave you behind. I think is a big risk.
Own it or it owns you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly. Well, and the reality is that how many organizations, individuals are already like, multiple steps ahead, for this, the businesses that are out there, small, medium, large, whatever. If you're not thinking about this now, you're already multiple steps behind your competitors, right? And so, the ones that are ahead or the ones that are kind of implementing, it's going to be hard to do the catch-up side, right?
Well, and that's how I ended up in tech, because I was selling digital marketing when I first got out of my MBA, but I had to go look at my own career and say, like, where do I think there's going to be value that I can add in the next 3 to 5 years? And, in 2000, that was all leaning toward everybody leaving data centers and just getting into the cloud and understanding like multi-cloud strategies. And, we were trying to convince people that that was real, and like, what does that mean? Like being in the cloud.
It's in the cloud.
Yeah, exactly.
Send it
Just send it up. Send it up. The cloud is not up. It's a data center that you're renting out from somebody else. Just, so it comes to find out several years later. But no, so that's why I got into tech initially, was it gave me the long-term capability to understand like, hey, I can continue to drive value here. And it's all business problem, which at the core of what we do as an actor is solve problems, right? We read a script, we try to understand what does the character want, what's in its way, how does it go about trying to overcome those obstacles? If it can't, how do you pivot? And so it's a very easy thing to lend to a business value proposition. And what businesses want at the end of the day is very simple: money, right? I want to have more profit. I want less overhead. Those are the two things businesses want. All right. Well, if I understand those objectives, now I can go figure out what's in your way and how to go solve those.
Exactly.
I am not a technologist, right? I don't code. Python to me is a snake, you know, not like a coding
there's
language.
So many
I have to look
names.
up acronym after acronym that my colleagues use like all the time. But I'm good at bringing in the right technical stakeholders. Once I understand the problem and what kind of technology may solve that, then I can bring in the sausage makers who are the architects and the engineers. But then I have a much more clear vision to have them set out on, right? Like, hey, here's what we're really trying to get accomplished. So also, if you're not technical, don't feel like you can't be in this space. You know, don't limit yourself.
That's good.
So don't limit yourself.
Don't limit yourself.
I mean, I do love all of one of the I think because all of us are people that have like transitioned in a way from like arts degrees to like how else can you use it. So I always just find it very fascinating with like, you know, how you still like use skills that you have learned
100%.
as an actor, as a like in your job.
All the skills I use are my undergrad, not my MBA.
Well, right? I mean, it's
truly though.
Don't go get your MBA. Is my professional advice.
Truly,
for you on this,
truly
on this
though,
meeting.
like
There we go.
I mean, yes, we could go on and let's save that for another section because
Yeah.
we could just
It's
talk
the
about
next
how to
one
like
called
what are the translate
get
your
your MBA.
skills.
Yeah. I know. I love
Translate your skills because like literally, I mean, I do think there's something to be said for.
Yeah, and I'm sure you did not growing up know that your job existed or was not something like, you know what I want to be.
My job didn't exist.
It didn't exist. But isn't that like the fact that like right now someone that is like in college or going to college, getting their BFA, or maybe they're in like their job could not even exist yet.
100%.
And building it upon like, here's the things I'm really good at. Here's like where I excel. What kind of jobs are available that I can go do is so cool.
And wherever you see shortcomings, how can AI help you address those?
Yeah.
To bring this back full circle. You know, that's where AI really can jump in on the day-to-day for any average. Wherever we are not strong, can AI help lean in and build some credibility or good outcomes on something we're weaker on?
Yeah.
Good stuff, Jeffrey.
Really great.
Jeffrey.
Well, we're so happy
Great
to know
talking
what
to you
your
guys.
job
Seriously.
is, dude.
Yeah.
Now we know so much
This
more.
is great.
Your
We have so
answer will
much
still
more
be
data.
tech
Yeah.
when we leave here. I know.
We
Jack
It's
seems
fine.
like an AI guy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Tech
no,
bro.
this is
That's
great.
right.
Yeah, tech bro, but not quite.
But
Yeah.
tech, middle-aged gentleman.
Kind-of-ish, yes.
It's fine.
Yeah, do you have a puffer vest jacket? I bet you do.
Multiple.
Dang it.
Yeah, you
But
do.
puffers, it's all about Patagonia.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
That
Yeah,
Sure.
checks out.
exactly. Good. At least you're with
puffer
that
vest jacket.
organization.
That's a
They're a
good
good
vocal warm-up.
They're a good
Yeah.
little cultural organization, so that's good. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Puffer.
Puffer vest jacket. That's
Puffer
a good.
vest
That's a
vest
good
jacket.
vocal warm-up.
Puffer vest jacket.
Oh,
Puffer
yeah.
vest jacket. Puffer vest jacket.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Full circle.
Puffer vest
Back
jacket.
to us.
Oh, this is great.
All right.
A new
well,
musical started here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
The puffer vest jacket about a tech bro looking for his
Almost dominated by AI.
almost
right,
dominated
that's
by
right.
AI. Oh my God, so many good
Exactly.
songs. We can use AI to write the songs.
100%.
There you go.
It's the most meta. Yep.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff.
Thanks,
we
guys.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Yes. Thanks for being here.
All right. And thank you guys for joining us. And as always, please subscribe to the As You Are podcast on all channels or on all platforms, rather. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.